a pleasure now to welcome in Jake Brandon from CougConnect. Jake Brandon, welcome to the show. I should put the proper graphic up there so that people know. But Jake, good to talk to you. Good to see you on the show. First of all, let's get the plug out of the way right now. Yeah. I think you guys have been one of the more successful NIL, and is collective the right word, I guess, but one of the more successful NIL operations in the country. I think you guys have been more successful. What has been the key to your success?
I think early on, the real thing that made us successful is the relationships we had with the football team. We knew these guys. We had pre-existing relationships with many players on the BYU football team. We were used to having them at our house. They had hung out with me and my family, and we talked with them like, hey, what does NIL look like for you guys? It kind of started out with a joke. We had them over for barbecue. I was smoking ribs, not on an Ironwood 885. I have a Pro 575, but I do recommend the Traeger.
That a boy.
Yeah, barbecue pit stop, right, all the way. But I said, hey, next time you guys come with this Built Bar deal, I think you should be buying the ribs. And I thought it was a funny joke, and they didn't think it was very funny. And they got into me like the real situation of them needing some more assists on the NIL front. And so we talked to them, and I have some buddies who are, one's got an MBA and one's a pretty successful accountant. And we put together what I think is a really good team, a well-balanced team. I'm just a football coach, football guy, interpersonal guy. They do all the hard stuff behind the scenes of making sure that there's money and making sure that we've got a viable business plan. We're executing that plan. And I just kind of network with the players, sponsors, and the fans. And so I think the genesis of how we started, the team we have, and then really putting the players first before profits, before anything else is what's made us successful.
How much of a struggle has it been, though? Because I think one of the things that you and I have talked about in our conversations, and certainly one of the things I've experienced at Utah trying to deal with Utah players and that whole NIL situation up in Salt Lake, is that there really has been no point person. So when you guys looked at this and when you guys are starting to put this together, how much of a struggle was it to put together a program that people could get behind?
Yeah, I think you've got to have someone who is that point person, who's reliable, who the players trust, that will not bring them some sketchy, shady deal. It's going to mess with their eligibility. If there's a improper deal or benefits that are improper. And then you've also have a person who's a point man who can go to these sponsors, who can go to these businesses and say, hey, no, I can get you these guys. Like, if you sign up with us, like, I will get them there. If they, for some reason they can't, our roster of players is over 50 deep. Like, there's plenty of other guys who will do this, I say 50 deep. That's people who we've consistently done deals with, who I know will show up and do a deal and get it done. And we're not Utah haters by any means. We've actually explored getting into Utah, helping Utah out with NIL. And we just had a hard time finding that point man for those guys. Someone with those relationships. We've worked with some former players that I've coached. One of them was a former NFL player and things. And we'd love to do that someday up there, because we have respect for the University of Utah. We like what they're doing up on the hill.
Good cover.
Yeah.
Good cover, right?
Yeah. But it's just, I think it's hard to put a comprehensive team together that has the athlete's best interest at heart, and who the athletes trust, respect, and can be that point man to make sure it all goes smoothly.
CougConnect.com is where you find Jake Brandon and the guys at CougConnect. So let's talk about that money piece of this. You guys run a subscription service, obviously. How much of that, and tell me about the subscription, but the main question is, how much of that gets back to the players, and how have you guys found success? Do you feel like you have a good subscriber base? How has that gone over with BYU fans?
Yeah, so the money getting back to the players part, I would say most months we have to run about $150 to $200 in studio fees. And that's having a studio that has good sound. This is not my studio, by the way. Our studio's in Provo.
Right.
But it's we have about $150, $200 in studio fees, depending on how much content we're creating that month. And then beyond that, the rest of the money goes to the players. So it's the significant portion. We have a few small operating costs, and it's mostly in our studio fees. And then the rest of the money goes to the players. The second half of your question, which was the subscription base we have, it goes up every month. We have yet to see a month where we don't pick up new subscribers. Some months it's a small handful, and some months it's a little bit more significant. And the players, it's nice to go to them and say, hey, like we went to Christopher Brooks, I think in July, and we said, hey, we want to get you $100 a month to come on and write an insider report for us. You're new to BYU. This is a new experience for you. BYU is a unique school, as you guys are well aware. We want you to come on and tell from an outsider's perspective, a guy who's really here for 1 year to try and get his stock up, what the BYU experience is like, all this stuff. And it's been pretty successful. We've seen a bump in subscriptions due to his practice report. So it's kind of like a perpetual thing where that we get more subscribers, we create more NIL deals, which creates more content, and then that's more appealing for people to come and subscribe. And I really think we can grow this. And we're rolling out a phase 2 here in a week or so that will pay players royalties in perpetuity. I'm talking for the rest of their life. And it's a game-changing thing. It's not happening anywhere in the country. It's happening here with the BYU football athletes and basketball athletes first. And so we're really excited about it.
Wow, Jake Brandon, CougConnect is our guest. Find him at CougConnect.com. So $9.99 if I'm a BYU fan, if I am a football fan, because I think you guys offer a lot more than just BYU. Obviously, the brand is BYU, but what I've found from your content is that it's pretty good football content, to be honest with you. I mean, it is the conversations, I think the things you guys are doing with T-shirts and whatnot. So let's talk about if somebody goes to CougConnect, it clicks subscribe on top of the screen there. What are you getting for your $9.99 every month?
So right away, you get access to, I think it's dozens and dozens of player interviews that are exclusive. But within those interviews, I was a former football coach. I was an offensive coordinator at the high school level for a few years, a run game coordinator for more years before that. We break it down with the guys. Some of these guys I've coached, so we have similar terminology, but there's really kind of a universal language of football. Yeah. And so, we'll teach some, we'll get in there and we'll get to talk about how to work the mesh concept in the passing game, the smash concept. We'll really break down the minutia of it. I like to get the tight ends on because they can talk about running routes, stemming people up. They can also talk about getting their hat play side, working the angles of it. So if you just want to know the players better, there's that portion of the interviews. But if you're a football junkie, and basketball, we had Trevin Nell on. He's so smart, guys. Trevin Nell's going to be a coach someday. And I'm not as big of a basketball guy when it comes to plays and scheme and execution. I enjoy the game, but I'm not like the big nerd I am with football about it. And right. And Trevin is, dude. So Trevin is breaking down this two-man game they run at BYU, and that they copied it from the Denver Nuggets, and like how it all works, what Pope's been working with them. So I think for anybody, whether you just want to be entertained and learn the players better, or if you want to kind of like a behind the door scenes education chalk talk experience with some of the best athletes in the state, it's a great way to do that. And then we offer discounts on things as well, in-person events and other things like that.
So where do you guys come up with these shirt designs? I've seen, obviously, I see you on Twitter, I see CougConnect on Twitter, and I see like the Clark Barrington shirt, and like, do the players get involved in that? Do you guys do that for them? Like, how does the t-shirt game work for you guys?
Okay, guys, the Clark Barrington t-shirt story is a great story. I had done lunch. I did some NIL deals with Clark, and he'd mentioned a T-shirt, and I was like, "Yeah, man, like we can do it." We work with several artists online. I've met one of them in person who's local, but most of them are just online, and they create poster designs for us. We sell autographed posters. They create T-shirts designs for us. And Clark's like, "Actually, my wife came up with a design, and I really like it." And I was like, "Okay, let's see it." And he showed me the design. It's that design. It's the helmet with Clark's mustache kind of behind the face mask there. Yeah. And instantly, I'm like, oh, that's a great design, man. That's like your brand. It's super cool, all this stuff. And so, like, let's do it. So we put together a deal. We made sure, 90% of all the profits were going to him. And we made sure that, there's just some small costs for mailing, production, and things like that. And he wanted, like, I think 30 shirts for family and friends. So we got him a separate NIL deal that would cover the cost of those shirts. So he was only going to make money on this deal. Like, we really went above and beyond to make sure he was going to get his shirts, he was going to get his money. And they sold like hotcakes, man. And I got so many DMs of people saying, "Oh my gosh, this is the best NIL t-shirt design I've ever seen."
Jake, it's one of the best ones. It's one of the best ones because it's unmistakable what it is. It's, the face mask, and I mean, it's BYU without being BYU specifically. Like, it's everything that you want. It's a fire design. The question is, does that shirt make him money?
Yeah, and it has. So there was his portion that he paid for with his NIL deal at cost, right, to get them. But
Yeah.
there was another dozen or so of guys on his team ordered or friends ordered, and he's like, hey, I want to make as much money as possible. I'm going to hand deliver these. I see these people, so I don't pay the shipping. And so the first night we got the shipment, he walked away with around $100, and he's going to get a lot. He's going to get a lot more than that from this first run that we did.
So it is hundreds. Sure. It's legit hundreds of dollars.
Oh yeah. See,
to me, that makes a difference because we're not talking about guys that are paying mortgages or have Lamborghinis they got to pay for. We're talking about a lot of these NIL deals and a lot of these situations. These are guys that are married. These are guys that have kids. His wife came up with that design.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of dollars puts food on their table. Like I'm surprised that more people don't do that. And I guess that's the thing at BYU as we talked to Jake Brandon at CougConnect here on the Monty Show. I think the thing that stands out to me so much is BYU seems to have that kind of infrastructure. I don't see that. And again, I only compare it to Utah because this has been my experience. I've really made zero progress on any NIL stuff at Utah. But is it just an infrastructure thing? Is it an alumni thing? Like, why is business getting done in Provo?
It's hard to pinpoint it, but I think that there's been this, I would say, network in place with BYU. BYU is a program that's called the Built for Life program, and it's a pretty impressive program. And basically what it does is it networks players with some of the most successful business people in the state. There's guys, I work with these guys all the time. We talk money, but there's guys getting paid internships with, like Adobe and Podium and Vivint and some of these big companies in Utah, and their network. And Taysom Hill, he had to make a decision, like, do I go and become an undrafted free agent in the NFL, or do I go work for this investment firm that I've met through BYU and start making six figures right away behind a desk? And it was a kind of a tough decision for Taysom because he wasn't a drafted guy, right? And we all know he made the right decision now.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of that in place already. So when I come up to people and talk with them, they're familiar with BYU football players. They're familiar with this. The Built for Life program was originally a Kalani Sitake idea that he came up with and started. So all credit to Coach Sitake and all credit to the staff at Built for Life. So there's just programs like that in place, and we're kind of a nice icing on top of this big cake of benefits that BYU players get when they come to BYU.
Yeah, and I think that's the exact right way to say that. You guys fit very well into the NIL pie at BYU. I think everybody knows about deals like the Built Bar deal. And, if one more person asked me, where can I get a Cougar Tail Built Bar? But I think that's a really good example of how NIL at BYU works. And I think that's why you guys, your niche really works well. So one more time before we let you go, let's plug what you guys do. CougConnect.com, click subscribe. What does it cost? What do you get? And how does it work?
Yeah, so go to the website. You can click the subscribe, or you can click on any interview that looks interesting to you. Click on it, and there's the option to subscribe to get full access to the content. In there, we get to know the players. We talk about them. We're not journalists, right? We have a relationship with these players.
Right.
So it's a casual conversation. They have their guard down. They're answering real questions. We talked about how the defense changed with injuries last year. We really broke it down last year. In the season, people are getting better reporting, I think, from us than a lot of bigger entities out there. We're going to teach you about football, the game of football. Even guys, I'm telling you, I've had coaches say, "Hey, I really liked how you guys broke this down." Guys who've coached for a lot of years. So, but we break it down simply. You guys want to understand that, and then we're going to mail you, if you want, you can get mailed posters at a discount, autographed posters. The money from those obviously goes to the players in those posters. We just made a hype track. It should be hitting iTunes and Amazon Music any day now.
Yeah.
So we can. To show you all the ways you can support the players in NIL, but really the subscription is the most consistent, easy way to put funds in this NIL machine and have it mostly go to the players. Like, I love that people are buying Built Bars and they're all about it. I just don't know how many pennies on your Built Bar ends up in the players' pockets, but I can guarantee you, just from being behind the scenes and making this whole thing work, that the majority of your pennies from your subscription end up in the player's pocket when you subscribe to CougConnect.
And that's not a small thing. That's why I asked you that the first thing. Because a lot of this NIL stuff doesn't end up actually benefiting the player for his name, image, and likeness. And I think that's a really important part of this. But hey, I I thank you. You've helped us a lot. We'll have a little bit more information on that coming up in the next week. But congratulations on all your success, man. I've talked to a lot of NIL people, and CougConnect, the guys at CougConnect.com, you guys have, I think, built a really strong program. So congratulations on that, Jake.
Yeah. Hey, I think you guys appreciate you. Hey, by the way, real quick, you guys are killing it. Just so you know, I've been on some local sports radio, and they were talking about this Big Ten update with the escalator clause and the new terms, this new agreement on it. And the guys I was on the show with there, they asked my input on it because I was in, I do a lot of work with the college football team, and I basically just quoted you guys on the show, and you guys broke so early with it, and you were talking about it in depth so early that they messaged me after. They said, "Hey, that's the most in-depth take we've had anybody make on that. That's amazing." And I said, "Hey, I just want to let you guys know I just copied that from the Monty show that I listened to in the morning."
Exactly.
So maybe you should guys give those some credit. And then also at the Patrick Beverly news you guys broke, was it yesterday or the day before?
Yeah.
The same thing. I was talking to someone and they're like, "I really just can't see Pat Bev play to the Jazz." I'm like, "Hey, you need to watch the Monty show," because they were tweeting out this morning and on their show this morning that he's a Laker now. So you guys are killing it. I love watching you guys every morning. I try and catch every morning that I can, and I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks, Jake. We'll talk to you soon, man. Appreciate you very much.
Yeah.
There you go, Jake Brandon, CougConnect. Check him out. Honest to goodness, and I think the thing that we get lost a lot of time is that it's this NIL stuff really is the wild, wild west. Honest to God. And I think when you look at guys like Jake Brandon and CougConnect, and Jake, I know you know Jake as well. I mean,
yes, Jake and Jake. It's
Jake
a great name. I mean,
But we'll have a big announcement through CougConnect coming up in less than a week now.
Already.
Already. But guys like Jake Brandon, I mean, they're the ones that make the difference for the player. And again, I mean, no slight on Built Bar and, all these larger deals. The money that you spend at a place like CougConnect.com, that money goes right to the player. I mean, it's pretty impressive, the volume of content that CougConnect has. He wasn't joking. If you haven't seen any of CougConnect's content, their video stuff, everything they do pretty much is on video. And it's not just, I ran off left tackle and I was in the end zone. Jake Brandon's exactly right. It is actual form, technique, schematics. Like, they have in-depth football conversations with the guys on the field. It's pretty impressive what they've been able to do.
Yeah.
And relationships make the world go round. And trust me when I say CougConnect has the relationships. Check them out online, CougConnect.com. All right, coming up here in 15 minutes, we are going to get to the latest on Donovan Mitchell. Is that the right way to say it?
The latest update.
If that is the right way to say it, and I think it is. Want to remind you that we are sending 2 listeners to see BYU and Notre Dame at the Shamrock Series. Yes, sir, in Las Vegas. It is BYU and Notre Dame. We're giving you 2 nights at the Palms Resort Casino and Hotel. We are giving you 2 tickets to that game, obviously. We're giving you a $250 gas card to get you there. And we're going to give away that prize September 17th at Barbecue Pit Stop. How about Jake Brandon with a Barbecue Pit Stop plug? Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
So we're giving that away. Lehigh, Barbecue Pit Stop, Saturday, September 17th. We'll have a watch party. And the newest details on that watch party, Papa Murphy's Pizza is on board. We are going to bring Papa Murphy's Pizza to Barbecue Pit Stop in Lehigh. Wait. Hang on. Where is I need the barbecue Pit Stop. Papa Murphy's Pizza.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
We are officially prepared for the event.
Let's go. We're big Papa Murphy's fans on the show. You know that we talk about it a lot. And now they are providing pizza for us. For the live show, we're going to do our Football Saturday show live at Barbecue Pit Stop in Lehigh on Saturday, September 17th. We'll walk you up to the Oregon BYU kickoff. We'll watch the game. And at halftime of that game, we are going to pull the winner of the trip for 2 to the Shamrock Series for BYU and Notre Dame. All you have to do is go to any of Barbecue Pit Stop's 5 locations, Logan, Lehigh, Layton, St. George, and Murray. They all have butcher shops. They all have meat counters. Like, it's essentially a butcher shop inside of a smoker supply store.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And I am an Ironwood 885 guy. I'm a Traeger guy. It's in the backyard, as Jake said. Yes, I rock the Ironwood 885, but if you want a Yoder, the Yoder smoker's amazing.
That's one of the most exciting parts of the event. I mean, you're going to come to the event, and we're going to be smoking pizza and wings. So you can literally see like these different tools in action. And you can ask these guys, like, that's the thing with Barbecue Pit Stop. And I know I've said this before, but that's how the whole Barbecue Pit Stop thing got started. Like, we went in there, like, so quick story. We were looking at our Ironwood and where we wanted to buy it and like what we were going to do.
No, tell them we were at Home Depot ready to buy it.
So we were at Home Depot and I was like, you know what? I don't want to give my money to Home Depot. I don't want to pay a big box store.
We're standing there. We are standing there in the Home Depot. I'm like, all right, cool. And I've like got the box out. I've got the cover. I've got some like utensils, like and smoker tools. And Jake's like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. I won't do it. We're leaving. I'm like, what? He's like, we're going to Barbecue Pit Stop.
Yeah.
Because we had been talking to Barbecue Pit Stop. We'd been talking to them about, hey, we were going to do a brisket for a big party we were having. And Jake's like, why would we spend our money here? And that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? So we went to Barbecue Pit Stop and we hooked it up.
Yeah.
And they were great.
And now we're here. And now you're going to get to see Papa Murphy's Pizza getting smoked on I don't know if we're going to use Traegers at the event or if we're going to use some Yoders or like what the setup's going to be quite yet. We're working out those small details. But the point is you're going to get to see that stuff getting smoked in person. And I think that's absolutely amazing.
And I'm a big believer in small business. If you look at all of our advertisers on this show, there's not a big box brand. Like you look at Devery Davis at Academy Mortgage. Devery is one guy. Yes, he flies under the Academy Mortgage banner, but Devery's a small business owner. You look at our guys at Barbecue Pit Stop. Steve is the owner of the Barbecue Pit Stop in Lehigh, and he's the founder of Barbecue Pit Stop.
Yeah.
He's the guy that started all these stores and franchises. You look at Papa Murphy's. All of these Papa Murphy's stores in Utah, they're owned by individuals. And there's a group of them, and they have a ton of Papa Murphy's across the state of Utah.
Yep.
We shop at the one on 4,000 right at the district here in South Jordan. Great store. But all of your Papa Murphy's across the valley are owned by individual people.
Yeah.
Those are small business owners. Patronize them. Give them your money. With all due respect to the big box pizza places, Papa Murphy's has people on the ground locally investing in our community.
Yeah.
Support them like you do Steve and the guys at Barbecue Pit Stop. So we'll be there September 17th. We'll have Papa Murphy's Pizza. We're going to have wings. We're going to have smokers, and we're going to have BYU football. It's going to be amazing. And it's all presented by Devery Davis at Academy Mortgage. Make sure you check them out again. Coming up in about an hour and a half, we're going to talk about renting versus buying in this state and in this country, because it's crazy right now how much people are paying for rent.
Yeah, it's not good, dude.
What's your rent right now?
$1,700.
My mortgage is $1,495.
Yeah, piss off.
You're paying way more.
Yeah.
You need to buy a house. Call Devery Davis. He's got great down payment programs for you. You can buy a house without putting a penny down when you call Devery Davis.
It's kind of crazy. Honestly, it's kind of crazy. I mean, like, and again, it's not that like, this stuff just happened like that. This is like magic fairy dust. I mean, these are like legit programs that are available that seemingly like most people don't even know about. And it literally just takes a call, and then you get the education and you're like, oh, well, being that is the case, maybe this is something I should do, and that's how quick it can happen. So,
and you're that guy. I mean, you're a 29-year-old guy looking at buying a house versus renting.
Mm-hmm.
Ask Devery Davis that question. It costs you nothing to call him and get the best information in the mortgage industry. And again, Devery's a local guy. He's a small business owner, so you're not calling some huge office building where they employ 1,000 mortgage officers who are just trying to make money on you.
Yeah.
You're calling Devery Davis and the Davis lending team. Call them today, 801-543-9666, NMLS number 278545. Devery Davis and Academy Mortgage are equal housing lenders and our presenting sponsor on the BYU Shamrock Series Drive Away right here on The Monty Show. So let's finish up this conversation on Big 12 expansion before we get to the NBA. And let's see, because I see there's a big conversation going on. How far back do I have to go here? Let's see. Scotty King says San Diego lost the Chargers for a lack of support. All that population couldn't support the NFL. They really won't in the Pac-12. Built a stadium starting at $30K for big boy football. Get a clue. I think when you look at San Diego, Scotty, with all due respect, knowing San Diego and knowing that market the way I know that market, San Diegans are great sports fans. And I think when you look at that market, not supporting the Chargers had nothing to do with San Diego. It had everything to do with the ownership of the Chargers. And if you look at their stadium situation, if you go back and you research how the Chargers negotiated in bad faith, how the Chargers did not pull their end of the rope, like this was not, hey, Jimmy in Chula Vista isn't going to support the Chargers.
Right.
That's not what this was. That's absolutely not what this was with the Chargers. San Diego State Aztec fans are a loyal, proactive group of fans, and they will only get bigger, and it's a Southern California TV market. And if I have to explain the importance of a Southern California TV market to the Big 12, I just think you're lost.
Yeah.
I think you're lost in all senses of it, because there's a large part of this that is business.
Yep.
CKS says for the Big 12, there's no doubt BYU versus Utah rivalry would be a massive addition, especially if BYU can continue to improve. Yeah, I think BYU right now is a New Year's Six threat. If you put them in the Big 12, and note that they're already recruiting at a very high level. They're already developing guys at a very high level. So they're taking 3-stars and making them productive contributors, depth players. They're taking 4-stars and putting them in starting lineups. They're able to get the Warners and put them in the NFL next to Kyle Vinoy. Like, you look at the guys, Zach Wilson goes number 2 overall in the draft. That's not by accident.
Yeah.
Kalani Sitake and this coaching staff, led by Tom Homo in the athletic department, the growth and development of infrastructure, Jake Brandon and the guys at CougConnect, all of that is happening because Kalani Sitake has shown up and he's grown the program. That, to me, is a huge tip of the cap. Utah's already established. Utah is a national powerhouse. Now, I don't know how many people know that. Utah's a national powerhouse. They have great, tremendous recruiting, great, tremendous development. I would love to see them throw the ball more, because the more you throw the ball, the more points you score, the better your recruiting on offense is going to be.
Yeah.
But that's a process with Witt. I totally get that. You want to win a game with defense, call Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And I think the Florida game and the USC game are 2 massive games, because for some reason the boys in Vegas and everybody else think that Florida's got a real shot to win this game, and I'm here to tell you they don't. They don't. I am a big believer that Utah's going to go there and win by double digits, 10 points at a minimum. And we'll preview that game next Thursday right here on the show. Let's see. Mark Ruckert said, would hate to see karma coming for Utah fans. Well,
yeah, I mean, I think
there is some of that.
You know, I mean, it's just what goes around comes around, and I think that's what's happening here. I just think that's, like, there's no getting around that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Patrick Boren. Good morning, too. Good to see you again, Patrick. He says, San Diego is the 8th largest city in the U.S. San Diego no longer has an NFL team.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you saying? Mark Ruckert says, SoCal recruiting huge, time slot huge, new stadium, decent football program. That will get much better recruits if they become mainstream.
Yeah.
It's exactly my point. Exactly my point. Strange Cloud says, barbecue pit stop plug.
Yes.
Exactly right.
Yes.
Exactly right. Dadgummit. J.K. Marshall. Mark, if I were a high school player, I'd choose San Diego State over just about any other Pac team, save Washington or Oregon. If I were a high school player and I could go to any program in the Pac-12, I would pick, currently constituted, I would probably pick USC. Let's take USC and UCLA out of it. And I'd definitely take Utah. I mean, Utah's the best program in the conference right now.
Unless you're a quarterback.
Well, there's definitely a conversation there.
I mean, if you're a quarterback, it's a different thing. I think if you're...
But if you're a quarterback in today's Pac-12, where are you going? I mean, you're going to USC. Okay, so if I take USC and UC out of that...
Yeah, I mean, I think probably Oregon. I mean, let's not overcomplicate it. I think that...
But who's the last great Oregon quarterback?
Yeah, it's true.
Marcus Mariota?
Yeah, I suppose. But I think, but this is also a difficult question to answer because are you on your way to the league? Are you, on a watch list? Are you a big deal? Like if you are any of those things, you're going to stand out. I just think that if I'm a quarterback, I want to go to a program that's got a high flying offensive culture. That's what I'm looking for. I want to be able to, it's like Jackson Dart as an example. Kids at USC for a year, and Keaton Slovis gets hurt, and then he steps in and makes a name for himself. Then he transfer start see what can happen.
But and the guy that I'm going to point to is Justin Herbert. Mm-hmm. If you look at my guy, the sex machine,
right?
Chiseled steel, baby.
Right.
My favorite quarterback in the NFL by far is Justin Herbert, but he's got to show it now. And what's the problem? Speaking of San Diego, he plays for the LA Chargers. He plays for the second team in LA.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say he's irrelevant because I think he's the best young quarterback in the NFL, but he's got to prove that because there's too many guys like Marcus Mariota. There's too many guys like Alex Smith. When I think of great Pac-12 quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers probably is the first guy that comes to mind when you talk about, hey, who's the guy that really has been over the top successful?
Right.
Because there's too many USC quarterbacks who have fallen flat on their face after running into somebody's ass. Mark Sanchez. There's too many of those guys, right?
Yeah.
So when I look around the Pac-12, it's very difficult to pick a quarterback factory that's not USC. But USC hasn't exactly put successful quarterbacks out.
Yeah.
Carson Palmer is probably the most successful quarterback of the modern era at USC. Leinart was a flop. Darnold's a flop.
Yeah.
It's tough. And I don't want to go too far with it. I just don't see the Pac-12 as a quarterback league. I don't. And, obviously there are some exceptions there. But if I'm picking a school, it's Oregon or Utah. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I think Washington has been miserably mediocre. Even when they were playing their best. And, you had Chris Peterson there, and they were lovely to a certain extent. Oregon, hey, has Oregon won a national championship? No. Is Oregon better than they were with Chip Kelly or Bellotti? They're not. But Oregon is going to put you on national TV.
Yeah, and the path to the league through Oregon is established.
Right. Defensively and offensively.
Yeah.
Right? So you can get that. But, there's no doubt that if you want to be a really good NFL player, especially on defense, you're going to Utah.
Yeah.
You're going to Utah. All right, let's get your thoughts in here real quick because then we got to get to the NBA. Man, a lot of people in on this conversation. Justin Herbert will be the best QB in the league this season. Scandura, I hope you're right.
Yeah, and I also think for Herbert, the other thing at play is that the Rams aren't going to be this good forever. The Rams are just in a window where they're dominating the league. And
bro, how about that helmet swing?
Yeah, well, and I think this Aaron Donald situation is kind of interesting. There were some talks and rumors that Aaron Donald was going to retire after this last Super Bowl, that he was good and he was ready to just chill out, and obviously he didn't do that, and he decided that he wanted to go to a joint practice and drop some dudes with some helmets. Okay, cool, dude, I get it, but my point just is that the Rams are not going to be this good forever. Maybe another 2 seasons.
And what's the story with Matthew Stafford's elbow?
That's another very relevant question. So that's why I say if you're Herbert, you just got to keep pressing forward.
Yep. Let's see. Patrick Bourne says, I agree with Monty. I'm taking Utah over San Diego State. List without USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington. Number 1 is Utah. Number 2 is Arizona. Number 3, San Diego State. If we're assuming that for sure. Marlon Shaw says, I don't think Utah will beat Florida by 2 touchdowns, maybe 10. I think 10's the number.
Yeah, 10's the number.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I like them. And obviously, next week, we're going to be talking a ton of football on the show.
Bro,
Florida is really bad now, really bad. The humidity will take a toll on Utah as the game goes on. Watch for cramping in the second half. Yeah, the weather's going to be a factor. You're playing at altitude here, which should help you with conditioning and fitness. But I don't think, depending on what the weather looks like next week, and we'll see, does it stay dry during that game? There's a lot of factors on that. So, yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. Look out. San Diego State Aztecs 21. He's in the chat. He says, good morning from Cali. We're raging about San Diego State right now. Fort Worth Poke 54. Good morning. Welcome back. Says, add Utah, Arizona, San Diego State, no to Colorado. See, thank you. Finally, somebody agrees with me.
Yeah.
No to those weed-smoking hippies in Boulder.
No.
Anyway, I don't understand why Colorado gets an auto bid everywhere they go.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Like, what is Colorado athletically?
They are Denver. That's it.
When is the last time that they've been really relevant across their athletic program? When's the last time they were truly a threat to win the conference in the Pac-12? In the Pac-8, in the Pac-10, in the Pac your mom. Like, are you kidding me? And they're like, oh, yeah, Colorado's going back. Buffs, baby.
Oh, Philip Lindsay's your running back all those years ago? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Mark Ruckert says San Diego State became much more attractive when the LA market went Big Ten. Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Yep.
Jesse P says Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the division by far. Could be. But isn't this a prove-it year for Patrick Mahomes?
Yep.
I mean, he's got guys on the sideline eating popcorn and talking to him.
Yes.
In his head. That's a commercial.
Right. That was a reference to an obscure
DirecTV
commercial that you probably haven't seen yet.
Commercial.
Yeah, commercial. You know.
Marlon Shaw, I do not want Colorado either. I would actually take Colorado State before Colorado.
Yeah, who the hell wants Colorado? I mean, come on.
Not saying Colorado State should get in, just get in ahead of Colorado. Exactly right. Exactly right. Giggity says Aaron Donald is quietly one of the dirtiest players in the league. Oh, not so quietly even, Giggity. I don't think there's any doubt. Him and J.J. Watt.
Excuse me?
J.J. Watt!
Okay. Yeah,
Him and J.J. Watt have flown under the radar because of their dominance, but they are absolutely testicle-smashing jerks. Okay, let's move on. Cody Strickland says, you guys thought about doing a game show at the park or something when the NBA season kicks off? Be a lot of fun.
A game show at the park.
Doing a game showing at the park. Could be. We have a big NBA announcement coming up as well, so stick around. Rhett Smith said, did you hear Zach Wilson's back, not playing football, but because the kids are back in school? I don't know what you're referencing.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
What do you mean? Knowledge 1975. I always want a school that won a natty in the last 50 years. Give me the Buffs. Beautiful stadium, great school. Okay. Beautiful surroundings. Boulder's beautiful. Mid-Florida Academy says it's going to be wet, humid, and hot in the swamp.
I believe the proper nomenclature is moist.
It's going to be moist, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. NY Jets fan says no to Colorado teams. I don't think they give a rise to the Big 12 or even meet the bar where other conference teams are. You want to make the conference strong, not weak. What has Colorado or Colorado State done? It's tough.
Facts.
I don't disagree with that. And people are like 1990. Well, that was
cool. That doesn't exist. That happened before I was
35 years
ago. We all know the rule.
Oh, no, excuse me. NY Jazz fan says 32 years ago.
Oh, excuse us.
Exactly right. Fort Worth Poke says BYU, Utah, Arizona, San Diego State, Texas Tech, Iowa State, Kansas State, Cincy, and West Virginia, OSU, TCU, Baylor, Houston, and UFC. That could work. UCF, rather. That could work. James Knight, is your watch broken, Monty? Chargers gears? Changing gears? Kidding. Soon, I promise. Alex Chacon. Mahomes is going to spend...
Bro, sorry to interrupt, man.
Chats are in the
bodification is happening.
Sex everywhere.
You know.
Yeah,
the bodification of the show is happening.
Thank you, Jake. I was able to...
it's sort of a natural reflex.
I was able to hide them from the channel
and
report them for pornography.
You report those bots.
Damn bots. Get rid of those bots.
Yeah,
exactly.
Good.
Let's see. Alex Chacon. Mahomes is going to spend all of next year on his back. Yeah, that's probably true. It's probably true. UF weather is high of 93, 50-50 thunderstorms, humidity off the charts, just like every other day in Florida during the summer. Exactly right, J.K. Marshall. Exactly right. Mark Ruckert says Colorado only if networks pay more to everyone else. It strengthens the conference long term. That could be. NY Jazz fan says beep, bop, beep, beep for the bots.
Yeah.
See what they did there?
Yeah.
They absolutely did there.
Right.
All right. This hour of the show is brought to you by... What? Why are you looking at... I look over for support. And I get a glare. This hour of the show is brought to you by Wayman Brothers Construction. 801-654-1028. 801-654-1028. Again, another small business that we do business with here on the show. because that's what we believe in. Support your local small businesses. Alma Wayman and the guys at Wayman Brothers Construction, they're a family, and they do great work. And it's hard to trust contractors. I would not put my name on Wayman Brothers Construction if they had not done work in my house. And if they are currently doing a massive project for me that's important, I'm telling you, you can trust Wayman Brothers Construction. And I don't say that lightly. Alma Wayman is a guy that calls you back, texts you back. And again, I was saying earlier on the show that, if you call them, you're going to talk to Autumn in the office. She's going to text with you. She's going to call you. Alma's going to be the guy on your job site. He's going to be there. He's going to be supervising his crew. You're going to get a guy like Josh who's going to show up and be one of the best carpenters I've seen. He really does everything, from hanging drywall to, mud, tape, bead to framing to you name it. The guys at Wayman Brothers Construction get the job done for you. They do it well. Their finished product is beyond reproach.
I'm for real.
And they have ethics. They have a work ethic. They have, when they say, hey, we're going to be here on this day and time, they actually show up that day and at that time.
Yeah.
And to me, that just means so much, because when you have contractors that show up whenever they feel like it, or they're late constantly. We told you about that paver patio situation in our backyard. And this shows you the contrast and quality of contractors. We had a guy who never showed up on time, showed up late in the afternoon, showed up when he felt like it. The project was 3 days late. I didn't have to worry about that with Alma and Wayman Brothers Construction. They were here on time. Like, they poured a big concrete pad to put our hot tub on.
Yeah.
The concrete guy was on time. They had it framed on time. They poured it. It went off flawlessly. They built me a Trex deck to go around that hot tub. It's safe. It's weatherproof. It's built. It holds me. And as you know, I'm 150 pounds.
Yeah.
Overweight.
Right.
And it holds everything because it's well built. That's why I trust Wayman Brothers.
And I think that's the biggest thing. It's the peace of mind. Like, whether it's the time thing, the quality thing,
right.
the guys being there or not being there. Like, that's why we decided to bring them onto the show, because we felt like, if one of you guys call them, and I would highly encourage you, job big or small, just to call them and see what they say. Yeah. Because ultimately that peace of mind is what gives you the good experience. Like, if hey, he's going to be there, the work's going to be good, it's going to get done in a timely fashion, especially when you're doing work on your house. That's the worst thing. Hey, my kitchen's all torn up. They came in, they demoed, they didn't come back for 2 weeks, and I'm left eating top ramen out of my microwave for 2 weeks because I can't cook anything. That's the worst thing
brutal.
ever. That's the worst thing ever. So that's why we decided to bring Wayman on, and I really appreciate those guys over there.
Cody Strickland with a $2 tip and says, does Wayman do financing? Need to finish my house. Call him. Hey, absolutely have options for you. I can only say so many times that if you have a problem, you need fixers. Wayman Brothers Construction is fixers. Call him today, 801-654-1028, 801-654-1028. Tell him you heard about it on the Monty Show.